Hello YouTube, it's Victor Gimmeabreakman. What's in the garbage today? Nothing interesting. It's always interesting to see what people throw away in the garbage. Hey guys, it's October 1st and I'm on the bicycle again. You guys seem to like these videos. They don't get a lot of views, but you know, they're okay. Anyway, I'm feeling very positive. I'm going to clip this onto my my backpack and let's go to work. Yeah, you might remember from last video that this woman here with the little what's it called, poodle. I don't like poodles, but is this the same woman? I can't tell because you're wearing a mask. Might be. I usually see the woman with a poodle in the garbage truck area. This is the garbage truck station. I don't know what they call it, but these are all the garbage. Oh, they're all garbage trucks. Are all gone now. These are all they all come here. If I'm here about an hour earlier, they're doing exercises. It's kind of cool. Anyway, I'm feeling pretty positive, feeling genki. Gonna try to get out a little more material, this content this month. I'm holding this thing in my hand, but I'm gonna run some more red lights as usual. You can see. Look at that. Let's post over here. More construction happening. Like to see construction. So the debate was last night, and I know some of you don't like when I delve into politics, but I think everyone would agree that was a shit show. And we can argue whether Trump was the worst offender, but Biden had he interrupted quite a bit too. Anyway, but it's interesting to see how people come away with their different opinions. Of course, before it even happened, just put this back onto my. Maybe I should put this on. Maybe I'll just let me. I got an idea. This on the different shoulder today. Different back. I got two shoulders here. Let me see if I can put this onto the. There we go. It'll be on my right shoulder today. It's on my left shoulder. It's interesting to see how people come away from that debate with two different opinions. Of course, before the debate even happened, I think no one really expected anyone to change their minds. And there's an argument, I think Trevor Noah said it, that, you know, at this point there really aren't any undecided voters. That's just a ridiculous notion. They're just people who are too embarrassed to say they're undecided, but you're not going to watch the debate and change your mind. And I believe that, yeah. But I watched the first few minutes. I had a class right before when it was starting, so I watched the first few minutes live, and my impression was that Trump was winning simply by talking over Biden, which is a surprisingly effective technique, you know. If you just keep talking, the other guy can't get a word in. You basically dominate the conversation, even if nothing you say makes any sense at all. Of course, if you listen to what people actually say, you can agree or disagree. But that's not the point. I think in the end, though, it was really surprising that Trump thought it was a good idea to actually not what's the word? God damn it! By the way, this is some building that I think is like Scientology. On the right there. You see that? Not rebuke white nationalism. What's the word? Not rebuke, but not deny. But anyway, he couldn't distance himself from white nationalists, and it was so simple. I think even Trump supporters were probably thinking, "Oh, come on, man! All you have to do is like." I mean, are there so many white nationalists that he needs their votes? That's what I'm asking myself. I hope this thing is working. Are we on here? Yeah, I think we're on. Okay. Anyway, but enough of that. So it's October 1st. Oh yeah, one more little thing about one little minor note. So there's There's a town in Peru called La Criolla, I believe, Criolla. And for some bizarre reason, Yahoo.com, which is a shit news source, but popular, they had a special on that, and they were talking about how I guess they went to like a gaijin bar, you know. So I've lived in South America. I've traveled quite a bit in Central South America, and they have like gringo bars, you know. So what it is like any town there, they'll have a little place where all the gringos, all the expats, all the tourists, all the English speakers hang out. It isn't nearly as bad as in Japan, where in Japan, like, if it's possible to live here without speaking any Japanese at all, you can get by. And there are bars that cater to people like that. It's actually possible to live here literally 20, 30 years without being fluent in Japanese. It's really bizarre. In Spanish countries, it's also possible, but it's less common. Like, most people can pick up more Spanish. It's easier to pick up, I guess. And the other thing is, the other reason it's easier to pick up is because in Japan, people insist on speaking with you in English, even if your Japanese is good. Like, my Japanese is arguably very fluent. No, it's fluent, you know. I can have a conversation about most things. I may not use the best vocabulary, the best idiomatic expressions, but I can have a conversation with anybody about pretty much anything. If I wasn't watching a news show, that's another matter. I'll have a little more difficulty understanding certain highfalutin words and specific, you know. Depends on what I'm watching, but I can watch a TV show and understand everything pretty much. A drama, no problem at all. A movie, no problem at all. But if we get into economics or politics, you might lose me. I don't follow that in English or Japanese, so not like Hiko Simon. Anyway, oh, there's green. Oh, there's still green here. I'll go a different way. Let's go the same way. Let's go a different way today. Let's take this road. Looks pretty busy. We basically want to be busy today. So show you the views. This is west. Oh, look at that building. West of Nagoya Station. Anyway, so there are gringo bars all over South America, and there's of course some in Peru as well. And although I'm also fluent in Spanish, because I was born in Peru actually, let's go this way. I think I'm probably really going out of my way. I'm gonna have to consult my Google Maps a little bit later, make sure I'm on the right track. Even though so a little background on this. When I was in college, my dad paid for tuition. I paid for housing and living expenses and such. But my dad paid for tuition, which is of course maybe the biggest chunk of change. You see that temple right next to buildings there? And I worked in I completely got my topic. Oh yeah, so I'm going to college, right? And I'm using my dad's money for tuition. And after 1 year, was it? 2 years? After 2 years, I told my dad, I said, you know, I'm not sure if this is the right course for me. Maybe I should take a year off and think about it and travel South America, Central America, go back to Peru, get to know my roots a little bit, you know. And he supported that. He's like, okay, you do that. So I did. Let's go down this road. So I went back to Peru and I traveled around. I was in Peru for a long time, and then I went down to Argentina and Brazil. I met some people, traveled around, made some lifelong friends. And of course I visited a lot of foreign bars, and I went back even after I graduated. I went back for another 10 months right before coming to Japan. And went through Central America, Mexico, and all the way down to Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, you know, all those places. Hit every city almost, except Venezuela and I think Suriname or something. Anyway, every town you go to, there's always like a gringo bar. All the gringos hang out, and some gringos speak Spanish really well, and most of them speak, you know, halting and faltering Spanish, but you know, they get by, and a lot of them live down there with their native wives, and they seem pretty happy. Whatever, I'm not going to judge. Very similar to Japan in many ways. However, green light. However, in Japan, I think there are more foreigners who don't speak any Japanese or speak really shitty Japanese, like really low level. So that's, you know, that's all I want to say. It's interesting. Oh yeah, one of the reasons for that. So I'm trying to not to get killed as I ride my bicycle and talk to you guys. One reason for that, though, is in Central and South America, people are willing to speak Spanish with you because you don't look that weird, like different. Like, you could be a complete white guy living in Brazil and speak perfect Portuguese and nobody would think anything weird, you know. But in Japan, if you're a white guy and you speak Japanese, there are a lot of Japanese who look at you, and even though you're speaking Japanese with them, their faces freeze up. And that was true. I always wanted to come here, never had the chance. Now with Corona, I don't go out anywhere because of that hoax, you know. See, I lost the stream of consciousness again. What was it? Oh yeah, so in Japan, even if your Japanese is really good, there are some Japanese who can't look you in the eye when you're talking, and they have trouble processing the fact that a foreigner is speaking Japanese with them. And a lot of them insist on speaking English with you, regardless. Many, many years ago, I worked at a big school, and we had Japanese staff, and somehow there's this one guy there. He was very slovenly, disheveled, and he was a salaryman there, but he was in accounting or something. Didn't have much to do with him, but one day we got stuck in the same elevator together. Not stuck, just we happened to be riding the same elevator together. That's interesting. Look at that, a man using a parasol to keep the sun off. Huh. You don't see that much. It's usually women keeping the sun off. And up here on the left, you'll see a woman with a parasol keeping the sun off her, which is completely normal, but men you don't see too much. Anyway, this guy was in the elevator, and another person got on, and I spoke to them in Japanese. Right? My Japanese is already pretty good. It took me about 6 years to get pretty good. Which is, I think, slow, but you know, as an English teacher, it's hard to get that practice in this country. That's the bottom line, you know. Living in Japan, people don't speak with you, so it's hard to practice. Anyway, this guy heard my Japanese, and he's like, oh, he said in Japanese, oh, you speak Japanese? I can't believe it. All this time I thought you didn't speak Japanese. I'd been at that school like 3 years, I think, at that point, you know. Years already. For some reason, he just assumed I couldn't speak any Japanese at all. You think after 3 years you speak something, right? Anyway, but even now, like even now that he knew, after that, he would still try to speak. Yeah, it was funny. I remember he would always say something to me in English, and I would always kind of just politely put up with it because it's, you know, it's my workplace. I don't want to get pissed off at people who insist on speaking English to me when I'm an English teacher at that place. So I just thought he was practicing. I didn't assume. Yeah, I just thought he was practicing. I think I never assumed that he just didn't think I spoke. What's going on here? Huh. I never assumed that he just thought I couldn't speak any Japanese. I thought he just wanted to practice. This is behind Fushimi, and they have a kind of a theatrical area here. And at night, well, not these days, I don't know if they have any shows, but they have like No and Kabuki and that kind of stuff down here. The street's a little bit smaller. Little, oh yeah, here we go, like that, see? Little tourist shops. We have some theaters around here and kimono shops and stuff. It's always amazing to me that so many of these places still exist after all these years. You think they'd just be bought up and gentrified or taken over by big companies, bigger companies, turned into more convenience stores. And anyway, oh, here's something interesting. Speaking of foreigners in Japan, I don't know the details exactly, but apparently a few days ago in Sakae, which is our downtown, another part of our downtown, there was a little protest. Five Japanese people, mostly, I think they're all pretty much old, were holding up signs, and one of the signs was in Korean. One of them was in just hiragana, which is weird. The other one was in kanji, and it said, "We support racism," which is really weird. And apparently they're against immigration in Japan, right? So that's weird. I've never seen that before. There was 5 people. Someone in the comment, it was on Facebook, and someone in the comment section, I mean, it's in a major newspaper, but someone had reposted it. Someone in the comment section pointed out that like 200 people showed up for a climate change march in Sakae, and there wasn't a peep in the newspaper about it. But 5 people show up to protest immigrants, and all of a sudden, you know what I'll do? What's the time looking at? Oh, we got time. You know what? I'll take one of these overpasses. Whoa! Okay. Didn't get enough. My gear's too low, not too high. I'll just walk this up. But this is a bicycle overpass walkway, pedestrian walkway. These are all over Japan. They don't usually take these, just break the law, run the red lines. You get a little bit of view of Japan. Oh no, they've got these barriers here. Just so you can't. Oh no, why are these barriers here? That's strange. The barriers here, but there are no barriers over here. Look at a view of the city. There you go. We're coming up on Os Canyon. This is actually a little bit south of my school, southeast. Oh, here are the homeless people living. Look at a view. Here's a place where people play sports, some kind of soccer type of game, maybe hockey. Oh, look at that. That's interesting. People hang up their bags. You find a lot of good garbage in Japan, so if you're a homeless person, you can find a lot of reusable stuff. Like pots and pans and dishes, that's for sure, that's easy. And then bags and other stuff like that. Anyway, more buildings, more construction there. Okay, so let me bring the story back to La Criolla. There is a city in the Lima area, or suburb, called La Criolla. And it's kind of famous. I think they have a lot of music there, I want to say. But, this is too steep here. My gear's too. Can't concentrate here. Okay. Anyway, and they had a gaijin bar there, and Americans had gathered to watch the Trump-Biden debate. And for some bizarre reason, Yahoo decided to feature this as their story. Look, all these people in Peru, all these foreigners, expats living in Peru, and they all support Trump. And here's the same talking points. Oh, one guy says, nothing Biden said made any sense at all. It didn't. It didn't strike a chord with me at all. He didn't enlighten, that's what he said. He just said he didn't enlighten me. Nothing he said enlightened me at all, which was interesting. I can't disagree with that. Like I've said time and time again, I don't really support Biden. But you cannot support Trump. I mean, he's an idiot. An idiot, a liar, and a racist. And lacking total human civility, just a rude son of a bitch, you know? But, you know, to be fair, not that much that he has done has altered my life at all. It's just that he's just an abusive son of a bitch. So let's say you got a father who provides for the family, you know, and nobody dies in your family, but he's a constant pain in the ass. Why would you continue? I mean, there are better options, you know. Biden will be boring, but isn't that what we want? Do we want someone boring? To have all this fucking drama all the time? It's just ridiculous. And it's an embarrassment. It's an international embarrassment. I guess unless you're a foreigner living in Peru, which is bizarre. Oh yeah, so back to the anti-foreign sentiment in Japan, which is tiny. Yeah, well, you know, it's tiny on a public protest level. You don't see people protesting. That protest of 5 people I just mentioned. I don't think I've ever heard of it before. And I showed the picture to my wife of it was, you know, the newspaper. I was like, look at this. She's like, oh, that's weird. But I mean, to be honest, to be fair, people don't look at you in the eye when they speak Japanese with you. That does exist. That is was that racism, or is that xenophobia, or is that just you know, it's definitely not comfortable. It definitely doesn't feel good. But it also taught me to not require other people's approval for my self-worth. So I'm very comfortable. And I know my value as a human being. I mean, this is going to sound stupid, but a lot of it thanks to YouTube. And not necessarily because of you guys on YouTube, but though I'm sure that has something to do with it. But mostly because I've had a chance to talk so much and think about things and verbalize them. And I think verbalizing and talking helps you, I don't know, get to know yourself, you know. I don't watch back most of my videos, to be honest, anymore, but I did in the beginning. And at first I was very uncomfortable on camera and self-conscious, etc. But now I'm like, whatever. None of that matters. The judging doesn't bother me. I still judge myself. And yeah, I mean, sometimes what bugs me mostly is when people misunderstand shit. Oh yeah, the other day when I was talking about jobs, I mentioned that if I went full-time with YouTube, I would probably lose the respect of maybe my wife and her family. And people thought it mattered. But I mean, well, no. I don't think it would matter enough for me to not do that. One of the reasons I don't is because I will tell you, this is maybe my weakness, but it's also a strength. It's that I feel a responsibility for the people who have signed on to be my students. I've had that in my school for 20 years now, and so many people have been coming for 15 years, many years. There's one family I've taught everybody but the father. I've taught one of the daughters, 2 of the sons, and the mother, all at different times. Right now I'm only teaching one of the sons. One of the daughter had a baby, so she's not coming anymore. But I mean, their whole family, you know. And I won't even say we're like good friends or anything, but they, I feel like, you know, just quitting the school would be irresponsible. So there's that. And becoming a full-time YouTuber is definitely not stable. So there's much more stability in having a 9 to 5, you know, that salary comes in every month. And as a family man now, you know, I'm not single anymore. I can't risk. I mean, I could eat cup of noodle cup of noodles, meals, 100 yen, whatever, 100 yen meals every day for a month to follow my own dream, but I can't do that to my wife and kids. And now, you know, I've got a house and a mortgage and a car, no, not car payments, but cars paid for in cash. That's the way people do things here in Japan. But I've got my mortgage and I got bills every month. And well, little things like putting away money for little Victor and Annalie every month for their college. Yeah, I've got insurance, you know, my health insurance every month is $600. So anyway, lots of expenses. So if I suddenly switched over to attempting to make a career, a living off YouTube, I would probably have trouble for 2 or 3 months, you know. It would take a few months, maybe more, maybe 6 months before it got off the ground. But anyway, that's why that's one reason it holds me back. Not the approval of people. I could care less. Like I said, I own my own school, and companies hire me through my school to go work at their companies and teach their salarymen. And to those companies, I have very little loyalty. I don't care. Because most of those students don't, the salarymen students, they don't even care. They're just forced to sit in my class. So, I mean, if I quit that tomorrow, I wouldn't feel I would feel like an irresponsible person. I'd be fine. I'd be fine. Yeah, a lot of those people just think I'm oh yeah, that's the other, yeah, speaking of coming to, if you're coming to Japan, I see this guy on Twitter. I don't know him very well, so I might be completely misconstruing what he believes or thinks, but my impression of him, I think his name is Mayday-san. He's a comedian, but he's got thoughts like a human being. You know, he's a human being first. He sometimes says things and people give him shit like, oh, you're not funny, dude. Running a red light. And anyway, he's always putting down being an English teacher. Like, he seems to think it's below him, but I learned a long time ago from my highly educated father and my highly educated mother that it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you do it, you do a good job, you know. There's no shame in work. And I don't feel ashamed of being an English teacher. But I will tell you this, once in a while, you know, I just do my job and I feel good doing my job. And I don't even think about the status or anything. But once in a while, you'll meet a guy, like a Japanese guy, really rare, but like once I was teaching a class and I said some things, I don't remember what the subject was at all, but one of the salarymen that I was teaching was impressed with something I'd said. You know, he just said, oh, that's pretty intelligent that you said that. He was, whatever, he was impressed, and I don't remember exactly, but he's like, aren't you just an English teacher? And I'm like, I don't understand. It took me a second, and I think, oh, right, you think we're all idiots. It was the funniest thing. I like watching people do work. These guys working, cleaning up the grass here. Right? I like watching that. Working. Okay, anyway. So luckily, the way other people see me now doesn't affect me too much, including, including my wife's parents. And to be completely fair to them, they're wonderful. I don't think they would really like give me a lot of shit. They'd probably worry, if anything. They'd be like, are you guys going to be okay with Victor just being a YouTuber? You know, that's all. I don't think they would be ashamed or anything of me. And my wife likes the fact. I'll be honest about my wife. She works at a company, and she's in that culture, that corporate culture where people respect other companies. One of her co-workers is a retired guy who came from a large company. I think it was like Sony. I think he came from Sony or something. And you know, everyone in the company is like, oh, this guy used to work at Sony. So what happens is, like, at her company, they sometimes hire like retired workers from other companies to like fill in or do part-time work. That happens a lot. I've seen that a lot. I've had students who've gotten old, and then they used to be English teachers at schools, and then they'll retire, but they'll become English teachers at other schools, but part-time. And apparently the benefits are pretty good, and you don't have to stay all day. So, but they're respected because of that. Oh yeah, someone, I think it might have been that podcast I was listening to. I was listening to this podcast called King of Kanto. They're, I've mentioned them before. I've labeled them as haters, but they're not really haters so much as they assured me they're analysts. But I'm going to be on their show next, actually today, but it won't be out until next Monday. But I think I was listening to their show and they were talking about, they actually put down being an English teacher. I think he might have been joking. I've only listened to a couple of their episodes. I can't really tell if it was a joke or not, but I'm pretty good picking out sarcasm, but not always. Anyway, the point is a lot of people look down on teaching and they're embarrassed by it. As long as you can make a good living. But I would tell you, I'll be the first person to tell you, you should not set your sights on becoming an English teacher in Japan as a career. If you want to come to Japan, come here, get a job teaching English, and then find something else to do. Because you're not going to make a living this way, a good living, without breaking yourself. Or doing what I did, which is, make your own company and then do all this other stuff. Because I've got a bunch of other frying pans. But what's the, I forgot, pots on the oven? I forgot, what the fuck. What the hell? I forgot the expression. Pans on the fire? No. No. What is it? God damn it. Something in the fire. It's Victor, and that, sorry, but that video got cut out because the battery died. Gotta be careful. I miscalculated. Anyway, what was the expression I was talking about? I've got, unlike other people who are just English teachers, I've got many I couldn't think of fingers in the pies. I couldn't remember the pans in the fire. Anyway, thanks for watching that video. I don't remember what was. I kept talking while the bicycle was moving towards the end there, but I don't remember what happened. But I do appreciate you guys watching these videos. I do apologize for that sudden cut, but you got 30 minutes of the view there. More videos coming soon. I do appreciate the feedback. That's about it. Everyone have a great day. It's still October 1st. I'm going to go home, take care of the kids. But more videos coming soon. And always stick around to the end of the video because I try to throw in something kind of weird at the end. Something that I just pick up. Which you'll see in a second. All right. Check it out.